Hello there, welcome back. Or if this is your first time here, you may want to go back and watch chapter 2 first, because we're going to continue on from that point forward. Now, today's chapter, we're going to format further the budget that we built last chapter. We're also going to put some charts in it to make it look real nice and change the screen display a little bit so it looks really nice on the screen as well as for printing. So let's get started. Now here's where we left off in the end of chapter 2. Now I'm going to change the screen a little bit so that we can see all of the sheet. I'm going to change the zoom level down to 160%. So now we can see all of the budget that we created. First off, to make this look a little bit nicer on the screen, I'm going to change how we view the sheet. And we'll go there by going up to the View menu and click on that, and then the ribbon changes to those things related to viewing the sheet on the computer screen. We'll click here to turn off the grid lines. Now you can come back and turn them back on anytime you want. The next thing we want to do is make it a little bit prettier on the screen. So we'll go back to the Home menu, and I think it'll look nicer if we have some a little bit more color in this. So I thought we could select these areas and make them have a very light blue cast on them, and the same would hold true for this line, the total expenditures. Now we'll just paint a very light blue cell background onto those important rows. Now I also think that now that we have those two columns selected, let's click on the paint bucket to paint the light blue onto those cell backgrounds. So now I'll click outside of that and we'll see how much nicer it looks. Additionally, we can look and see what it looks like to be on the printed page like this by hitting Command or Control P. Now, so it looks a lot nicer than it did. I'll hit the Escape to get out of that, and we'll move on to creating some charts. The charts can make it look nice and give some additional information that we don't already have. So I'm going to create a simple pie chart of the income and where it comes from. To do so, I'm going to select the column with the title and the amount at the same time, and then we will go up to the Insert and put on the Insert tool ribbon. The Insert tool ribbon has a variety of things that we can add to our spreadsheet, and one of them is a pie chart. So if we select right here at the down arrow, we get to choose what kind of pie chart. Now this first one is the simplest, so let's start with that. Now it automatically puts it onto the page, but it's a floating document. It's not inside cells or anything, so we're going to be able to enlarge it or shrink it or put it where we want to. So I'm going to make it smaller, and we see that it's labeled and with colors. At the same time, we can change the colors to be a variety of different colors if we want. So just by going up to the change colors and selecting a type of color. This one has a nice color. So we can also change the kind of a chart it is. The kinds of charts are, these are templates up here that show examples of what we can do just by one click. This one tends to look pretty nice, so why don't we go with that one for now. You notice it just says chart title. We should say what it is. So we can just double click, actually triple click, to select the entire text in here and put down that this is the income. This chart describes everything that it does. It covers the income. Mom's job is 44%, dad's pension is 42%, and the interest income we get is 14% of the income. Let's do the same thing for the expenses. So we'll select all of those expenses, including the title and the amount. Go back up to the insert menu, select our pie chart, and there we have another pie chart. Now let's put this one where we want to. Get its size shrunk down to where we want it. There, we've got more things here, so we're going to leave this one a little bit bigger. And again, we can change the colors if we want. Yeah, actually those colors are pretty nice, but let's see what a change colors looks like. There, that actually is a little better. It separates the items a little better. Now let's go back to our same format, and as we see, it lays it out pretty well. Now we have some other things that we can do with the formatting, but we'll look at that in a little bit. So let's change this chart title to expenditure. All right. The last thing we can do is create a chart that shows the difference between the total expenditures and the other things that we're doing with the funds, which is total expenditures, which is all of our expenses, and then each one of these lines is a separate line. Kind of tells us where all of our budget money is going. So let's select them. Now here's where we just hold down the command key after we select them, and we can continue selecting, such as that. So we have 4 items that we've selected separately. Now, again, we go right back up to the insert menu, click the bar chart, or the pie chart, and there we have another pie chart. And this one, let's put this one over here, where we have room. Now this one is really the allocation of all of our income, right? It's whether it's allocated between expenditures or savings or vacation money or leftover. We always hope for more leftover. Okay, so there we go. Now let's again change our chart format to this, because that seems to be the most prevalent. Now we have some options here that we can do. Is when the charts are selected, an area over here to the right opens up and gives us options on how we can format these charts. When we select in certain areas of the chart, we get different options available to us. So let's take a look at the options we have available for us on where these percentages are. This, of course, being a paint bucket, is talking about colors. But let's go over here to our label options and see what we've got. Now we've got the option to put down a legend key, which is the colors themselves, and we can also go to best fit, which lays things out a little bit more readable. And the other options we have are to center them like we were, inside the ends, outside the ends, or best fit. Best fit seems to work right. Now we can do the same thing to each one of these charts just by selecting the same area. Just by selecting that, legend key, best fit. See, it makes it a little bit more easy to read. So let's do that same thing to our last chart. And we'll go legend key, best fit. Now see here, it even put little leader lines to point to the areas. So it is much easier to read. So let's talk about how do we print this document. This is what we're going to do for printing. So let's take a quick peek by Command P. And we can see, oh boy, it's such so much stuff there. It's making it really small and on the top of the page. Let's change it so that we're going to print on portrait size. Turn the page sideways, and then give it more room, less margin space, and we'll see if we can lay this out a little better. So I'm going to cancel right here, and we're going to go up to the page layout area. In the page layout area, we have options to adjust the margins, which we'll do here. We're going to make them the narrow margins, so we use as much space of paper as possible. We'll select that. We're also going to change the orientation of the page from portrait to landscape. A few other things that we're going to do, we have to get to by going through the margins, custom margins. And we can go to the page area and we can say we want to make sure this thing fits to 1 page wide by 1 page tall. Margins, we want to make the margins as small as possible. This is smaller than normal. But we also want to center all of our spreadsheet and charts in the center of the page so that it looks real nice. So we'll click here. Now this is the way to get to this feature right here, is to come in through margins. We also could put a header and a footer on there, but I'm not going to right now. And here we would put in, if we wanted rows to print over again on the next page, and how we want to print things. And if we wanted to print grid lines, we could check it right here. So, but that's enough for now. So now, if we go to the print, we see that we've got the page is filling the page very nicely, and will print very nicely. So we'll go ahead and print. There we go. We got a print coming out right now on my laser printer. There we go. Right now I can hear it coming out. All right. So looks pretty nice. It's a nice little budget there. So with that, we'll end here. In chapter 4, we're going to go into more in depth in some of the formatting options and what other things we could do to make the spreadsheet look even nicer, and look at other options on the charting as well. So with that, I hope to see you come back on the next chapter. Take care. Cheers.